All right, welcome back everybody to Altcoin Daily. My name's Austin. Very important video today. Bitcoin right now is dipping and dipping hard. In fact, Ethereum, Cardano, Chainlink, the entire cryptocurrency market is in a little bit of a bloodbath. And I know there's some fear. I know there's some uncertainty in the market. So in today's video, I want to put this into perspective, as well as inform you about the latest Tether news, the latest Ethereum/NFT news, as well as the latest altcoin news that you should know. So, like always, check the timestamps down below in the description, and let's start with Bitcoin. To put this dip into perspective, Bitcoin has dipped so low that we haven't seen these price levels in a whole 12 days. And 12 days ago, Bitcoin at $47,000 was high. This was great. Now, 12 days later, we're back again at 47,000, and all of a sudden, people are freaking out? This is good. This gives the market a much-needed correction. When in doubt, zoom out. Dips are a part of any healthy bull market. The 2017 run-up from a $1,000 Bitcoin to an almost $20,000 Bitcoin was filled with multiple over 30% corrections. This week's dip for us was only 20%. Very normal. And it provided that relief. Check out this most recent on-chain data from Glassnode. Tactical indicators such as the SOPR, which we'll go over in a second, and funding rates have just entirely reset back to healthy levels. Bitcoin bottom should be in for now. And we'll talk about have we bottomed in a second. But the on-chain metrics have reset to healthy levels. So what is Bitcoin's SOPR? And why do Bitcoin fundamental analysts put so much weight into this metric? It stands for Spent Output Profit Ratio, and it's basically price sold over price paid, essentially telling us that if entities who own Bitcoin right now, if they were to sell, would they be selling in profit or in loss? And this is powerful because entities who own Bitcoin, they don't want to sell for a loss. So this can be a very powerful metric to see what the hodlers are doing. In fact, back in January of this year, 2021, when Bitcoin was hovering around $33,000, this was very accurate in predicting Bitcoin's local bottom. In fact, back then, to push the SOPR lower, investors would have to be willing to sell at a loss. And now several weeks later, both the SOPR and the funding rates have been relieved/corrected, indicating that if we're not there at the bottom, we're close. Now, I am not a registered financial advisor. Ultimately, I don't know what the price of Bitcoin will do tomorrow, and neither do you. But if we take a long-term perspective and use some historical analysis to influence our decisions, historically, you were looked on as a hero if you bought the dip when Bitcoin corrected. Give me your thoughts down below in the comment section and hit like if you appreciate this perspective. And maybe you're saying, whoa, Austin, we've corrected about 20% in this recent dip. Should we be waiting/expecting possibly up to 30 or almost 40% like we saw in past bull markets? I would say yes, while this is possible, absolutely. It's not probable, in my opinion, given the climate, but also given the type of investor that is buying Bitcoin in 2021. This bull run is largely institutionally driven, as opposed to retail driven by the average mom and pop investor back 4 years ago. Generally speaking, corporations/hedge funds are less likely to panic sell. They've done the research, they're in it for the long term. That's the climate right now in Bitcoin. And again, this channel will always back up statements like that with actual recent data. Just a few days after the world's first Bitcoin ETF started trading, we reported this to you. Its holdings are at 8,288 Bitcoin. 2,251 were added yesterday alone. So this exchange-traded fund, they weren't selling, they were buying. They bought the dip. The ETF's assets under management has crossed $500 million USD, currently sitting at $564 million. If you're selling, they're the ones buying your cheap Bitcoin. As I get more information, I will keep you updated. At the end of today's video, I want to play you some perspective on today's dip from Michael Saylor himself. Stay tuned till the end. But let's talk about Ethereum/NFTs as well as the next piece of breaking news. It is official. BITFINEX/Tether must stop trading in New York and pay an $18 million fine. The case has been settled. Let me read you Tether's statement, as well as just what you need to know now as an investor, now that this has happened. Tether and BITFINEX have reached a settlement with the New York State Attorney General. After 2.5 years and 2.5 million pages of info shared, we admit no wrongdoing and will pay $18.5 million to resolve this matter. Well, even though they're not admitting any wrongdoing, they're still paying almost $20 million despite that. They continue by saying, there was no finding that Tether ever issued without backing or to impact crypto prices. This settlement shows our commitment to the future of the industry and to transparency with quarterly disclosures of Tether reserves going forward. So whether they want to or not, part of the settlement, they're now going to have to submit quarterly reports to the New York State Attorney General to prove their transparency. But the important thing, for better or for worse, is this case is finally settled. And what this means to you as a crypto investor, this settlement is a great outcome for Tether and BITFINEX and the cryptocurrency industry at large. While the New York Attorney General would say that it isn't an endorsement of USDT and we can't rule out there being more to the story, it does send a strong signal that after so much discovery, the New York Attorney General was ready to move on. So they didn't feel that they had enough evidence to convict, so they said, hey, all right, we'll settle. And now Tether has to submit quarterly reports on their reserves. As I get more information, I will keep you updated. But next piece of news, Gods Unchained, which is a very popular NFT trading card game on Ethereum. Gods Unchained is seeing the largest period of consistent notable growth with a steady rise in our weekly average players. Next step, total domination. And I know most of you have been asking me, how do I earn NFTs? Well, turns out Gods Unchained is a fan of this channel. They reached out, they're sponsoring today's episode with a special promotion for the Altcoin Daily audience. So what is Gods Unchained? Boom, here it is. I know a lot of you already play Gods Unchained, but I think this is cool. I think it looks awesome, it's actually fun to play, and it's things like this that actually lead to cryptocurrency mass adoption, I feel, where you can't even really tell this is a crypto game. This just looks like a fun game. So in the next 90 seconds, let me share with you what Gods Unchained is and why it matters to you. It is a completely free-to-play, anybody can play, card game with the goal to accumulate NFT cards and items to win battles. Okay, you gotta win battles. And here's the cool thing. Because Gods Unchained is built on the blockchain, players can actually have real control over the items that they earn. Meaning that these are Ethereum tokens. You can buy them, sell them on Uniswap for real money. And keep in mind, if you can't sell your items, then you don't really own them. In 2019, for example, players spent over $87 billion on in-game items. And if they're not NFTs, you don't really own them. Players received $0. It all went to the giant game companies. Non-fungible tokens in games like this change things. So instead of just buying, if you want to start earning NFTs, you can play the game, it's free, and you can start hunting cards and finding chests. So check it out, link down below in the description, and specifically only for the Altcoin Daily audience. If you use my link down below to start playing, the Gods Unchained team will be randomly selecting 10 people who sign up using the Altcoin Daily link and also make it to level 5, which in my experience, it's actually very easy, about 3 to 4 games worth. They will be gifting 10 random people $100 in Ethereum. Only if you use my link down below, support the channel, check out the link, and let me know what you think. The last thing I'll mention, and also another big reason I do think this has mainstream potential. The company has financing from Coinbase, which is huge, Galaxy Digital, Mike Novogratz's company, and Naspers, one of the largest tech investors in the world. And it's also led by Chris Clay, who is the former game director of Magic: The Gathering Arena. He has had success in gaming before, and now they're all sort of coming together for Gods Unchained. So, like I said, if you want to start earning NFTs, use my link down below. 10 random people who make it to level 5 will be gifted $100 in Ethereum, and this will all happen through the game. So do not be fooled by random bots and spammers down below in my comment section impersonating me. Check it out. Next piece of news, Crypto.com to burn 70 billion CRO tokens ahead of their full blockchain launch next month. This is huge, and in my opinion, sort of a Hail Mary from the company to try and decentralize as fast as possible. Calling the burn the largest in history, the crypto exchange will commence with the burning of 59.6 billion CRO tokens on Monday, so this has already happened. And then the remaining 10.4 billion will be burned monthly as tokens are unlocked from smart contracts. And typically, when a company burns a bunch of tokens, price usually skyrockets up, which is actually what we saw on Monday, because even if demand just stays the same, if supply shrinks, that means price go up. At the same time, if a whole bunch more coins enter the market, price has a tendency to go down if supply increases. And the circulating supply of CRO will increase over 80% from its current 24% as part of Crypto.com's bid to fully decentralize its chain network. So they're burning a bunch of tokens. They're also putting a whole bunch more tokens in the circulating supply. This is looking like sort of a defensive move. They don't want to be contacted by the SEC. They want to be able to say, hey, whoa, this is decentralized. And the burn will leave 5.9 billion tokens to be allocated for block rewards and ecosystem developments. So they're only keeping 5.9 billion. And this is all in preparation of them launching their new chain. Crypto.com has announced that the Crypto.org chain, blockchain, will launch on mainnet March 25th with CRO as its native token. And how will this be different than what they have now? Well, this will offer DeFi products and NFTs. We will have to see how this plays out. Give me your thoughts down below. And let me leave you with 30 seconds of Michael Saylor addressing this recent Bitcoin dip, addressing the question, well, does that mean Bitcoin at $55,000, $57,000? Does that mean Bitcoin is overvalued back then? No, the network is growing. Listen to this. Give me your thoughts.
The most important thing to understand about Bitcoin is a bank in cyberspace for people that don't have the ability to run their own hedge fund. It's not a stock. It's an asset class. And so, if I put $1 billion into a bank and then came back a year later and I put another $10 billion in the bank is not overvalued by a factor of 10. The bank is just 10 times bigger. People are using Bitcoin to store their monetary energy for the long term. And so the price is a reflection of the monetary energy in this bank in cyberspace.